It's been a month since the trailer for the Super Mario Bros. Movie came out, and I spent all this time analyzing it frame by frame, trying to find as many hidden details, Easter eggs and funny nods to the games as possible. And I found 100 of them. Yep, 100. Just in this trailer, which starts with the view of the Ice Kingdom that we don't recognize from any games. However, that doesn't mean that it doesn't look familiar. You see these dome-like mountains appearing across the snow levels in new Super Mario Bros. Games. I mean, they're kinda resembling the tower shape of the Ice Kingdom, above which we can see a beautiful aurora, which appears in the ice levels. So it's easy to assume that this Ice Kingdom is located somewhere between these areas. Then, all of a sudden, while listening to dark and sinister music, we see a giant waterfall of lava. Lava falls. This is nothing new because that has appeared multiple times in the games, but I'm just wondering, does it fly thanks to some kind of magic, or is the lava flow so strong that it lifts the ship up? But I absolutely love the color contrast of this scene. Actually, it is quite reminiscent of the Freeze Flame Galaxy from the Super Mario Galaxy game. At the same time, you know, the classic contrast of blue and red, good and evil, ice against fire. Yeah, that won't end well. In the first shot of Bowser's castle / ship, we see that he has a giant statue of his head in the front of his ship, which isn't anything new for the games either, but it's a nice reference to one in particular. Namely, a very similar ship appeared in the very first Paper Mario game on the Nintendo 64, where Bowser's ship also had a statue of his head, also had these spiky balls, and was also flying. In this movie, Bowser will go after Power Stars. Well, this Ice Kingdom probably won't be the first that Bowser charges, and I will tell you why in a moment. But at the same time, I think it won't be the last. After all, we still have the Mushroom Kingdom. Another shot of Bowser's ship shows us how incredibly gigantic it really is. Hell, it's bigger than the whole kingdom. Here, at the same time, we can see Bowser's second head up here, spewing lava fall. We can see bridges and towers around, so this will probably be the part with the castle. And here we have a really hot thermal pool. After the ship lands, an army of Koopas rushes out. Bowser gets introduced by none other than Kamek, Bowser's right-hand man, personal mentor, and magician. When he starts to cast spells, just like in the games, when he uses his wand, we see a purple-pink magic that draws these teeny-weeny shapes of different colors. I mean, it's there for just a few frames, and this detail is so small and tiny, but awesome, and it definitely has a great personality and can cook very well. At the same time, I can't help but notice that Bowser only has Koopas in his army. No Goombas, Chain Chomps, Thwomps, no one, nothing. Just Koopas. And many of them have a really familiar flag on their spears. Yes, of course, it's the flag from Poles at the end of each Mario level. Alongside, among the giant crowd, we can see two very special Koopas, namely these two with wings. They are called Paratroopers, and since they are in front of Kamek, they will probably rank high in Bowser's army. Okay, now let's focus on the one on the right. He is the only Paratrooper and Koopa in general with blue shoes, blue shell and wings. We've seen some blue Koopas in games before, but never with spikes on their shells. Well, look closely. Yes, it has spikes on it, but the blue shell with spikes, I think I've seen it somewhere. Oh yeah, that's the most feared item in Mario Kart games. So yeah, for the first time we get to see the Koopa that this shell comes from. So whether an origin story appears in the movie or not, at least we can see a Koopa with this shell for the first time. But I really hope that we will get at least a small story there, because if you look at his body, you can see that it's different from all the others. It's more robust, its head is shaped differently, as if it was some special variant of Koopa. Maybe his shell also makes him the most important one of them all, like a general or something. I don't know, military what? I mean, he even has bracelets with spikes. Dude, he's important. Overall, we've never seen Koopas with armor like this, neither those spears. So, I surfed across the internet and memory, and I think I found where the wind was blowing from. Those spears are the ones Cross had in Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. They're bandits that look like crows, but their design resembles Koopas a lot. And as far as I know, maybe there's some kind of variant or evolution, I don't know. Well, again, the armor is probably also inspired by a character from Paper Mario, namely Koopa Troll. Those are Koopas with knight armor. It looks like they took inspiration from both and somehow combined it to fit nicely in the movie. Oh wait, after all, we don't just have Koopas here, cause from the bird's eye view we see a crowd of Koopas with some kind of cannons. Well, these are not just any cannons, these are the Bill Blasters, which shoot the well-known bullet bills. But as we could see, they probably were not needed. Then we have a shot of this super tough Koopa and a scared Koopa right next to him. Well, this is quite interesting. On the left we can see a green Koopa, but thanks to all the lava and fire lightning, it looks like it has a yellow shell. But there are no yellow Koopas in games, there are more or less either green or red. Well, yes. But if we look once again at the Paper Mario games, we will find the KP Koopa, which as you can see has a yellow shell. Well, he also has something else. He has glasses. And what does the red Koopa have? Oh yeah, an eye patch. I mean, given so many Paper Mario references already, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a really well-hidden Easter egg. Or maybe I'm just overthinking it, I don't know. But what is already clear here is the hierarchy. The red Koopa is not afraid, just look at him. He has this murderous, blood-curdling expression. Meanwhile, the green one is completely terrified. Well, and something we know from the games is that the red Koopas are simply superior. If they approach the edge of a platform, they simply turn around. Green Koopas, on the other hand, they are... I'm sorry, dude. At the same time, in Mario Kart, the green shells are random. You just throw them and they fly straight. While the red ones, they have like an aimbot. They fly straight at the player in front of you. I mean, this is just a beautiful detail, and I think it's gonna be mentioned in the movie at some form. Oh yeah, and by the way, this Koopa really fascinates me. He has armor, those bracelets, he has an eye patch, a murderous expression, and even a scarred face? I will bet my boots that this Koopa will be one of the main ones, or even like a secondary villain. You know, the main one is Bowser, but like the smaller problem will be this one, huh? Then when the castle is being demolished, we can see these flags. I spent like 15 minutes trying to analyze the sign. I even tried to magnify it with the help of AI, but I'm still not sure. Sometimes I see a mushroom there, but here I see a snowflake or a star, which would make sense given the kingdom, but I'm really not sure. So let me know in the comments what you see here. This is really just a fun fact, but at the gate we have these lanterns that seem to have an ornament behind them that looks like a star. I don't know, that's maybe just an aesthetic detail, but what is no longer just aesthetic is this star symbol directly above the gate to the kingdom. And as we know, Bowser goes after the stars, probably to become, in a way unknown to us, somehow stronger. And this probably won't be the first kingdom he conquered. We will get into that, just hang on. The castle opens and oh boy, what we don't see. cute but armed penguins. Some of you might think that these are just new characters for the purpose of the movie, but all Mario fans know that they are not. These penguins appeared already in Super Mario 64 and eventually in other games, such as Super Mario Galaxy, but they were never throwing snowballs in the games. At most, Mario would throw them towards inevitable death. Here it's probably inspired by the penguin suit from the new Super Mario Bros. Games. And then the penguins start running towards Bowser and his army. I can see a slight connection here to one of the minigames in the Mario Party games, but hey, let's be honest, I'm being too nitpicky. And something I didn't notice at first, but yeah, here it is. As soon as one of the penguins hits Bowser with a snowball, Bowser looks at it and then at the penguin who threw it. I mean, it must have pissed him off. Then penguins fire a giant snowball that hits one of the Koopas in the back, which catches an eye of the crook with the eye patch. Get it? You know? I mean, let's be honest, he probably wears it just to be cool, you know, because he obviously doesn't need it. In this shot, we can see another blue Koopa. He also has spikes on his shell and even on his helmet, but he has no wings. So earlier, we saw the first blue paratrooper with spikes, and now the classic Koopa. Kamek then uses his magic to throw away the penguins. Or does he? Well, we see a shot where he begins to cast a spell, and in the next one, he throws them and they fall into the Koopa's captivity. Well, let's go back a bit. That's it. Stop. Can you see it? Yes. In this shot, the penguins have already been captured. So these people who made the trailer are seriously insidious. This happens on a normal basis with making trailers. At first glance, it seems like a nice tie-in, but then when you spend hours and hours of analyzing, you notice these things, you know. But the question remains, what and why is Kamek casting a spell on, if not them? Another just a really small detail based on the penguin's expression, it's probably about that time of destroying the castle, because they look scared and sad. Ah, that Bowser, flying from kingdom to kingdom, collecting stars as Thanos did with the Infinity Stones, decimating their homes and even making them watch. And I thought that Thanos was cruel. We see Bowser destroying an entire kingdom with his fire beam, but he never had this kind of power in the games. Or, like, he had in the Super Mario 3D world, Bowser's Fury, but there he was like 100 meters tall, which indicates that this indeed won't be the first star he's acquired. And I'm really curious about what he actually wants to achieve with all this. Something that might surprise you a little bit, this movie will be a bit of a musical. Bowser's voice actor himself, Jack Black, confirmed that Bowser will personally have 2 musical scenes. Considering how this shot looks, the darkness behind him, the whole atmosphere of this shot suggests that this is the end of the first Bowser song, in which he kinda explains his motives and his plan. Or maybe it's just the dust after the decimation of the castle. I mean, I'm looking way too much for connections here. There is also the possibility that this is the last star Bowser needs. I mean, after all, the penguins were waiting for him, prepared in combat gear. They knew very well who he was and that he was coming for them and something they have. Bowser then says, "I finally found it." Yeah, that's my Bowser. Yeah, that's my Bowser. And this might indicate that his search is over. It would also make sense if this was his first, but it also wouldn't make sense because how would he be this strong? I mean, then he goes to the Mushroom Kingdom, but another type of star could, probably won't, but could be waiting for him there. After all, there are 3 main stars in Mario games. Probably the most famous one that gives invincibility, but I think we can exclude these ones completely. The ones that Bowser collects will probably be the ones that Mario always takes at the end of the level, whether in Super Mario 64, Galaxy or Galaxy 2. Alongside, there is a 3rd type of star, namely the Grand Star. However, this star looks different, so Bowser definitely collects the classic stars. But this one, the Grand Star, has already been eaten by Bowser once in the Super Mario Galaxy 2 and turned him into a total giant. This is purely theoretical, but since Nintendo and Illumination have more Mario movies planned, I wouldn't be mad if they gave us Grand Star in this movie and thus introduce us to the character of Rosalina, Lumas, and maybe Mario in the space. I definitely don't want to give you any leaks about the story of the movie, but I will tell you that there was one leak a few months ago. So we won't deal with it here, but some basic facts that we already know would be cool to mention. This will be Mario's origin story, and we will get into that in a moment, so be sure to watch the video until the end. Mario works as a plumber in a world far, far away from the Mushroom Kingdom, specifically in Brooklyn, with his brother Luigi and foreman Spike, when suddenly one day he is transported by a pipe to an unknown realm. As I said, the movie tells the beginnings of Mario when he was not super yet, huh? Get it? For this we have to go back to the very beginning of Mario in games, namely the Wrecking Crew and Donkey Kong, which by the way will also be present in the movie, we just haven't seen him yet. And there will be some other characters from this period of time of Mario games appearing in the movie, but that is already part of the leaks, and we don't want any leaks here, we're only looking for details in the trailer, so we will leave this one by. When Mario flies through the pipe, we can see that it comes from a brick wall, and that is a nice reference to, of course, the brick blocks from the games. Also, the wall looks a little foreign to the environment, and it might indicate that the pipe goes into another realm, industrial one. Maybe that's why the bricks, I don't know. Now, listen to this jingle that plays when Mario appears.
Who's gonna stop me?
Of course, you all know this one, it's probably in every Mario game, but this particular version is from the animated series, the Super Mario Bros. Super Show.
Hey, paisanos, it's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show! With the Mario Brothers and plumbing's again.
Yeah, the 90s gave us a lot of weird Mario content. We can also hear the iconic sound of the pipe itself during Mario's appearance. Do you remember the gate from the Ice Kingdom with the star symbol above it? Yep, it's here as well, right above the pipe, so it appears that every kingdom that is guarding one star has this symbol in the entrance to it. After Mario falls on the ground, a butterfly flies by him, and that has to be the most beautiful Easter egg in this entire trailer. I'm not even gonna say anything, just look at this. The shot from the trailer and a shot from the ending of Super Mario Galaxy. That's just beautiful. As Mario gets up, we can see some more butterflies, just like around Peach's castle in the games. Mario is confused, wondering where he is. After all, he never was here, he's from Brooklyn. Or maybe, literally, from the New Donk City. That would make sense. Brooklyn is a part of New York, New Donk City is the Mario version of NYC, and as I will show you in a second, Super Mario Odyssey is actually canon to this movie. Meanwhile, Mario's looking around, still in shock. I mean, I get him. I would lose my mind if I would appear in a land with 20 meters high mushrooms. And while he's inspecting his surroundings, we can hear these mysterious sounding tones. Of course, it's just a slowed down version of his theme, but a nice touch. Oh, and one thing Mario and probably you didn't notice, but I did. This castle in the background. Yep, it looks just like the castle at the end of every level in the first Super Mario game, just in 3D. But that's not the only hidden thing we can see here. Look, there we have a yellow Bidybud, some Cheep Cheeps in the river, birds flying around, which look identical to the ones in Odyssey, and another two Bidybuds, a green one and a red one. Mario's first words in the trailer are literally from the original live-action movie from 1993. Just look.
What is this place? What is this place?
Yeah, as I said, 19s were crazy for Mario. Mario looks almost identical to the games, but there are a few slight changes. For example, shoelaces, this new pocket, the gloves that are not connected here, and he has a collar. I never knew Mario had a neck, and I didn't need it to know. I don't know, it just looks so weird. When Mario approaches the blue mushroom, we can hear this cute, subtle noise. And as we know from the past 63 facts, nothing is random here. This sound can be heard when stomping on Strollin Stew in Super Mario Sunshine. Or a Wiggler from Super Mario Galaxy. I mean, you decide. Then Mario gets scared by Toad, who is also super detailed in the movie. He has a backpack and even trousers instead of a diaper. The voice acting is relatively accurate to the games. You can hear a little bit of the raspiness of Toad's voice just like in the games.
Do not touch that mushroom, you'll die!
But let's be honest, could you really sit through 90 minutes hearing this all the time? But if there is one thing I want in the movie, please just give me one Toad scream, the in-game scream, the wah! Please, just give me one screech like this. When you look closely at Toad's backpack, you can see that he has these patches. Patches, like patches, not patches. That's me, I'm Patches, hi, nice to meet you. With locations he has visited, although it's not clear from the trailer. Well, thanks God, we have a poster. Thanks to this, we can see the right one is from Mushroom Kingdom, the one in the middle is Tostarena, the Sand Kingdom from Super Mario Odyssey, and the one on the left is from Fossil Falls, the Cascade Kingdom, with the T-Rex there. Arara. And that's what I'm talking about. Those are locations from the Odyssey game. But not just that, these exactly same pictures, these exact same logos can be applied as stickers on your ship in the game. Exactly the same ones. So yeah, Odyssey is somewhat canon to this movie. As I said, Toad looks incredible as well. Actually, a lot like Captain Toad. And as we know, he has the Odyssey patches. Captain Toad was in the Odyssey game. But he looks different. So it's either just another Traveler Toad, or it is the Captain Toad, just without his usual outfit, and maybe we get an origin story, or maybe he's just in other clothes. Let's be honest, he's at home right now, the Mushroom Kingdom, but who knows? What do you think? Is it Captain Toad or just another traveler? You know, Toad scares the hell out of Mario to not touch that mushroom, but then he says it's completely fine. On the first look, it may appear as the poison shroom from the games, but it's not the case. You can tell by the white dots, the poison one has purple, so it's just a blue mushroom. But it's still good for Mario that he didn't touch it, cause as we know from the games, it would shrink him. Talking about power-ups, on the movie poster there is a lot of them. For example, here in this shop, we see a Tanuki suit from Super Mario Bros. 3. Here is a music box. In this crate, we have a boomerang from Super Mario 3D Land. Of course, the mushroom from the first game. Right next to the boomerang, there is a feather from the Super Mario World. And right next to it is a pixelated bell from the Super Mario 3D World. And apart from all the power-ups, we see another game items. Like, for example, this POW block in a shape of a barrel, referencing Donkey Kong. This key and a chest, and this axe, right from the first game. But the most interesting item here must be this egg. Yep, it's the Yoshi egg. Now I don't know if Yoshi will appear in this movie, but maybe in a sequel, or like a post-credits scene, like a cameo. Instead of Nick Fury, we get a Yoshi. Of course, we see a lot of floating islands that had appeared in multiple Mario games, mainly the 3D ones. And on one of them, we see this cannon. Seems like a reference to Super Mario 64, where you could find a cannon that would shoot you further in the levels. I mean, I just want to see Mario fly over this entire landscape, please. Then we see multiple Toads in trouble. They are way too curious, aren't they? Oh wait, what is that? Ah yes, the classic mystery block. And another one up here with wings. And it wouldn't be Mario without the coins. Seems like they will serve as some kind of currency in this movie. Yeah, sorry, back to the trailer. We get to see this panorama view of the Mushroom Kingdom, and some of those mountains have the same zigzag pattern as the ones in the games. And here we see a long trail going through the landscape of this kingdom. Looks a lot like the map from the games. And of course, we see this huge village under the castle. Yep, that's the main town of the Mushroom Kingdom. The Toad Town, if it wasn't obvious. Both in the trailer and the poster we see these rectangle-shaped textures that strongly remind me of structures from the 3D games. Especially this one at the top. The tree is like taken out of the 3D world. I hope there is a bell on top of it. Peach's castle looks just like it did in Odyssey. It's a little more pink and has additional floor to it. Oh yeah, by the way, where is Peach? We haven't seen her in the trailer. Not even the poster. Well, thanks to a leak from a McDonald's promotion that also leaked the look of Mario like 2 days prior to the release, we get our first look at Peach. Ah, isn't she beautiful? Then the logo pops up and it has more Easter eggs in it than it might seem. The text Mario Bros is in the same font as the Super Mario logo is, even with the same colors for each letter, and it even has a white outline with a star in the letter R. And there was a rhyme, just like the Super Mario Galaxy logo did. Also, there is another reference to the live-action movie from '93. Yeah, let's not mention that. Except for the Super Mario, the rest of the logo is done with this generic font with a metallic texture to it. Just like the live-action movie logo has. And then we finally get to see why it's a Bros movie. Luigi's here!
Luigi's here! Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah, that was my impression. And it seems he's kinda in a bad situation. He's running away from Dry Bones. But what is interesting is their eye color. Normally they have yellow eyes, but here they are red, just like Dry Bowser's in the games. That's maybe why they are much more violent and aggressive than they ever were. They may be under some kind of spell or influence of Bowser. After all, they are guarding his castle. Bowser's castle again? Well, one of them. He has that boat, you know, for vacations and road trips. And this one is like his little cottage, a cozy cottage. If it wasn't obvious enough for the zombified Dry Bones, you can tell that it is his castle thanks to the flag. Just like with the mini castle from Mario's Arrival, this one looks like the boss battle castle at the end of every world. Luigi is running away through this dead, parched landscape towards the Bowser's castle, while the ground beneath him is tearing apart and erupting lava, just like in the lava levels. Look, this one tripped over and his head fell off and he's still running. Also, check out the dead trees, the full moon, the overall atmosphere. I don't know how about you, but it seems pretty Luigi's Mansion-like. This is only solidified when Luigi gets inside and tries to close the gate. Look at this frame, okay? And now look at this frame from the very first cutscene of the first Luigi's Mansion game. This is just a beautiful analogy? I'm gonna go with parallel. So Luigi will definitely encounter some kind of ghostly spiritual stuff. Maybe not in this movie. I mean, I would love a Luigi's Mansion spin-off. And after all, Nintendo has more plans with Illumination. We might even get an MCU, the Mario Cinematic Universe. And this was all I could find. It was more than 100 facts, but you know, the number 100 just looks good. And if you found this video somewhat cool, let me know what would you like me to do next. And after all, this is my very first video, so I suppose there were some mistakes. Next time I will try to improve it, so you better subscribe if you wanna see more. Thank you so much for watching. See ya.